Hello everybody, Dan Lucas from Credo here, and welcome to this video. Welcome to my channel. And we are here on a Sunday, and if you're watching this the same day I'm making it, then it's Sunday to you. If not, some other day. But in any case, it was a beautiful day today. A little hot, but beautiful day. And we're moving out west now in our 50 states in 50 days, and today we're doing Kentucky. And Kentucky was admitted to the Union on June 1st, 1792, I believe. And that's about 9 months after Vermont. So, not as much of a lag in these different states being admitted to the Union than I would have thought. I mean, I definitely would have thought that you'd have rapid succession of admission to the states, the first 13 colonies, of course. But, as they were admitting states, they were still blazing a trail west. So I can't believe how fast this country expanded. Really think about it in the overall perspective of history. In an overall perspective of history, I mean, this country just grew so rapidly. Unbelievable. And actually, there were a lot longer pauses between the states being admitted in 13 colonies than I thought. And I think that the new states being admitted after that is now we're on the 15th state, Kentucky. As we keep going, it's just shorter periods than I would have thought in between the states from 15 on. So, in any case, for all you history buffs, that was a little rundown, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about tax credits, and Kentucky is very rich in tax credits. I didn't really know that Kentucky was known for tax credits per se. Definitely do now. When I think of Kentucky, I think of bourbon, I think of the Kentucky Derby, I think the Kentucky Wildcats, I think of basketball, blue for Kentucky Wildcats, a lot of bees. I think of automatic weapons. I think it might be the only state where automatic weapons are legal. Of course, not to commit crimes or anything, but, for recreational use. Baseball bats, and there's a lot of good stuff going on in Kentucky. It's a cool state. So anyway, as we're talking about tax credits, I'm going to talk about some individual credits and some business credits, because some of the individual credits are actually related to business. For instance, they have an angel investor credit there, which I consider business, but it's listed as an individual credit. So I'm going to do two different areas. I'm going to do individual credits, and then I'm going to do business credits. I'm going to do a rundown of the entire list because they're kind of long, and then I'm just going to go back to some of them and make some comments on them, because we can't go into every one of them really deep, okay? But if you are in Kentucky, that's good news, because it is very tax credit rich. And if you're not getting any tax credits and you're a business owner, self-employed, 1099, anything like that, you're going to want to take a second look at these credits, because you're probably missing something, okay? All right, so first let's look at the credits that are listed as individual credits. And like I was saying, the first one on the list is the angel investor credit. We've talked about that before. There's the child and dependent care credit, the credit for tax paid to another state, of course, education tuition tax credit, flow-through credits, inventory tax credit, non-refundable family size tax credit, non-refundable limited liability entity tax credit, and the personal and dependency credits. All right, so I'm going to go through some of the credits a little bit more in depth here that I think are more relevant to this particular audience that might be watching this. Let's look at the angel investor credit really quick. The purpose of this credit is to encourage qualified individual investors to make capital investments in Kentucky small businesses, create additional jobs, and promote the development of new products and technologies. And there's more information that goes deep into how you calculate this and how you can get the credit. But suffice to say, if you're investing in a Kentucky company, see if this is available, see if you missed it, see if you can go back and get it. If you're in Kentucky and you're an entrepreneur, set your company up to offer this credit to people. It's a big attraction, right? So you be proactive about this credit. Any state that has angel investor tax credits, if you're raising capital, use it to your advantage. And if you're giving capital, use it to your advantage, okay? Especially in negotiations. All right, let's go to the, inventory tax credit. That's kind of interesting. So if you're a sole proprietor reporting business income or loss on a federal Schedule C, so that means like you don't even have an LLC set up necessarily. It could just be total mom and pop, could be DBA, it could be something very informal. It's just a Schedule C. It means you don't even file a business return, okay? So if you report business income or loss on your Schedule C, and you paid tangible personal property taxes on business inventory in a taxing jurisdiction in Kentucky, you can claim a credit for the inventory tax paid against individual income tax. That's sweet. That is not typical. Okay, so if you are a Schedule C and you have inventory, you are probably paying tax on inventory, or personal property tax. Sometimes they call them ad valorem taxes. But if you're not, you might need to. You might need to check that out, make sure you're in compliance. But if you are, there's a nice credit there for you. Let's see. There is a non-refundable family size tax credit. That is unique terminology. Let's see what that's more about. The family size tax credit is based on modified gross income in the size of the family. If total modified gross income is $33,000 or less, you may qualify for Kentucky family size tax credit. Well, you might say, I don't have, my income's not that low. Well, if you're a business owner, you might have a year where it is that low, and you might have missed it, right? So you might have had a year where you invested a ton of stuff in your business, ton of money in your business, or it could be a startup year, right? And maybe you had a loss, or maybe you had a loss from the year before and it carried forward, and so maybe you made 200 grand or something this year, but you had a $170,000 loss built up from the past that knocked out that $200,000 this year, and you had $30,000 of income. You might qualify for this. Okay, so don't assume that you don't. You might be able to qualify for this, and you might be able to qualify it with just some good planning. Okay, for year-to-year planning. Okay, there's a non-refundable limited liability entity tax credit. So this is. So if you're an individual, if you're a partner, member, or shareholder of a limited liability pass-through entity, don't worry about what that means necessarily. Just if you're a member of an LLC, or you're a member of a small company, partnership, LLC, could be an S corp, but it's a small, closely held business. Might be family and friends, or just a handful of business people getting together, or business partners getting together. You get a credit against your income tax, and it has to be computed by gross receipts or gross profits of the limited liability pass-through entity. But I'm not going to go into all the details on it because there's a lot here when I'm reading here in the code, and we could go through this. You could probably do a whole video just on this calculation. But if you are a partner and a passive investor, that type of thing, check on this. Make sure that you're getting it. Make sure that if somebody maybe is running that company, or if there's an active member and you're a non-active member, check it out and see if it's something you can get your hands on, or something they can get their hands on for you and then pass it through to you. Okay? All right, let's go over to business. There's a ton of credits here in the business. I'm just going to read these again top to bottom, and then I'm going to go back into some of them that I think are more relevant to the people that are watching this video. All right, so it's top to bottom. Biodiesel and renewable diesel tax credit, cellulosic ethanol tax credit, certified rehabilitation tax credit, clean coal incentive tax credit, coal incentive tax credit, distilled spirits tax credit, there's that bourbon I was talking about, economic development tax credits, employer GED incentive tax credit, employer's unemployment tax credit, Endow Kentucky tax credit, energy efficient products tax credit, Energy Star Home or Energy Star manufactured home tax credit, environmental stewardship tax credit, ethanol tax credit, food donation tax credit, inventory tax credit, Kentucky Investment Fund tax credit, New Markets Development Program tax credit. That sounds appealing. Qualified Research Facility tax credit, Railroad Expansion tax credit. Never heard of that one before. Railroad Maintenance and Improvement tax credit, Recycling or Composting Equipment tax credit, Renewable Chemical Production tax credit, and the Voluntary Environmental Remediation tax credit. That's a mouthful. There's a lot of credits going on there, okay? And we've had a couple states here that we've done in the past, probably 3 or 4 states that we've done here in the past few days that didn't have a lot of credits. Well, Kentucky is stopping that trend right now. They got a lot of credits going on. All right, so let's talk about let's go back to the beginning and talk about the certified rehabilitation tax credit. This is for qualifying taxpayers who perform certified rehabilitations to structures that are listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Okay, so in a historic tax credit, we've talked about this in other videos. If you're in Kentucky and this is the only video you're watching, if you're involved with any historic structure that you're putting money into, rehabilitating, et cetera, it could be something that you just look at as normal upkeep, or if you're changing the facade, et cetera, look into this. See if you might be due a credit. Sometimes people spend money on this stuff and they don't even realize that they qualify for a credit. Okay, so a lot of historic type structures, monuments, things like that in some of these states that were first admitted to the Union, these older states. So if you think you're doing something in that area, definitely look it up, because that's an area you could have been missing credits, and you could go back, right? You might have spent money in the past, so don't always think that just because maybe you haven't spent money this year that you can't go back and look at prior years. You can always go back and amend returns, is a general rule. Sometimes you're not allowed to do that for tax credits, so you have to check what the rules are, but assume you can, and then wait until you find out you can't. All right, so we have some of these energy credits. I'm not going to go through all these, but if you're in the coal industry, if you're investing in any businesses or any partnerships that might be investing in energy or coal, you're going to want to check these out. There's 3 different types of credits in Kentucky for coal. Let's look at the distilled spirits tax credits just for fun. So that's a non-refundable and non-transferable credit. So that means that you have to pay tax to the state of Kentucky to actually get the credit. Okay, that means you can't get money back for it if you don't owe any tax. Okay, so it's a coupon. You have to make a purchase basically to use it. Okay, and it's not a purchase, but you have to owe tax. Non-transferable means when you earn the credit, you can't transfer it to someone else to let them use it. You can't just sell it off. Okay, so if I have a $20 coupon, I can't sell it for $15 to someone else who might be able to use it better than I can. Okay, so a non-refundable and non-transferable credit that may be claimed by income taxpayers who pay Kentucky property tax on distilled spirits. Okay, so I'm assuming this is for people that are in that industry, that are either producing or selling distilled spirits, and there's a tax on, there's always tons of taxes on, there's sin taxes on alcohol, tobacco, things like that, so gasoline. So I'm assuming that's what this is talking about. But anyway, if you're in that industry and you are not getting the distilled spirits tax credit and you've never heard of it, you need to go and look into this, okay? All right, we have the employer GED incentive tax credit. That's kind of interesting. Employers that assist employees in completing a learning contract in which the employee agrees to obtain a high school equivalency diploma may be eligible for this credit. That's awesome. I love these kind of credits. I love the apprenticeship kind of credits. I love any credits that give you incentive to give people a hand up. I absolutely love that. So, if sometimes people that have white collar companies that are maybe professional services, man, there's a lot of smart people out there who could just use a hand up sometimes. And, if you can help somebody get a high school equivalent, they could make a great employee for you. You never know, right? So, credit's worth it, and so something to definitely look at and give someone a hand up. I know a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, they're not just in it for the money. I'm not saying that I'm against profits by any means, because I think you do the right things and profits follow. But I know a lot of people are slanted towards getting satisfaction in other things, especially helping people. It's part of what their drive is, in general, from what I've observed in my career. So I think this is pretty attractive, and I would look into it if I had a business in Kentucky. All right, let's see. They've got the Endow Kentucky tax credit. Looks like this is something for just donations to community foundations across the Commonwealth. So basically, looks like some additional credits you can double dip on between federal and state. Nothing necessarily that special or unusual about that. There's some more energy credits. Again, the energy efficiency products tax credit, Energy Star home or Energy Star manufactured home tax credit. Let's see, the environmental stewardship tax credit. Let's see what that is. It says this credit has expired. Okay. Ethanol tax credit, the film industry tax credit. We've talked about this in a lot of other states. Qualified productions can take advantage of a refundable income tax credit of 30 to 35% of approved expenditures. That's pretty good. That's about the same as Georgia, where I am. So if you're, film industry, look for those credits. I'm not sure if they're transferable or not. That's something I have to look into. But if you're interested in that type of industry and you want me to do a little homework on that for you, just put something in the comments or ask a question on the video and we'll do that for you. Myself or somebody else on the Credo team will do that for you. All right, we have the Kentucky Investment Fund tax credit. Let's look at that one. So that's investors who make cash contributions to certain qualified investment funds certified by the Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority may be entitled to this credit. If you're an investor, I would look up the Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority and look up what those funds are all about and see if I wanted to invest in them. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that have been around for a little while and are past that kind of, some of those growing pains of scraping by. They love investing in businesses like this instead of just dumping money into stocks or something else boring. Well, boring to me. I'm sorry if that offends anybody, but some of that stuff is less interesting to me than investing in a new startup company. Go check this out and see what's on there, because why not get a tax credit? And I have a feeling that these investment funds that are certified, I'm assuming that they're a little bit lower risk in general, just inherently, if they're actually approved, and you can kind of probably keep out of, the Bernie Madoff type schemes, that, unfortunately can infect the whole private investment world. All right, we have a New Markets Development Program tax credit. It's a taxpayer who makes a qualified equity investment in a qualified community development entity may be eligible for this credit. So I think this is like a opportunity zone type credit. So there's different areas you'd have to look up and see the map in Kentucky about what the areas that they're saying are in these zones. But suffice to say, if you have made an investment in a piece of real estate, or a partner in a piece of real estate, if you invest in a piece of real estate, if you own a piece of real estate, go check out if it's in one of these zones, because it could just be low-hanging fruit for you to get some tax credits. They have the Qualified Research Facility Tax Credit. Certain taxpayers that construct and equip new facilities or expand or remodel existing facilities in Kentucky for qualified research purposes may be entitled to this credit. Very interesting. We actually, myself and other members in the Credo team, and we serve a lot of companies in like biotech and medical devices, that type of stuff. And they have separate facilities all the time where they're doing research, where they have people in lab coats and stuff like that. So, anything going on like that, or if you're invested in anything like that, bring it to the attention of the owners of the business you're invested in. If you're one of those kind of venture capital people, or if it's one of your, business that you're involved with, make sure you're getting this credit. Make sure you talk to your CPA, or us or your CFO, and see if you can get these credits. All right, and then let's do one more. The recycling or composting equipment tax credit, because it just kind of sounds unique. Qualifying taxpayers who purchase recycling or composting equipment to be used exclusively in Kentucky for recycling or composting post-consumer waste materials may be entitled to a tax credit. Wow. I mean, I know my wife would probably be interested in this. She loves this kind of stuff, and I love her for it. Hi, Susan. I love you. I'm talking good about you. So if it's something that you're involved with, or if it's something that you're interested in, or if it's something you've always wanted to do, look it up and see. Look it up and see what the tax credit is, and that might push you, over the edge. It might give you that little boost you need to go and do it. Plus, it's a feel-good thing. I love when you get tax credits for doing like the good things, right? Just being a good citizen and being a good inhabitant in this planet, So it's always nice to get paid for that stuff, right? It's not necessarily why you do it, but it's nice to get paid for it. So, okay, that's Kentucky. There's a lot of credits you went through. If I read through and listed, or when I was reading through the credits of the list of credits, and I was reading through, if I said one that kind of made you go, or I wish he had said more about that, put a comment in the video, or send us a note. You can always send me a note at dlucas@credofinance.com. You can also send a note to info@credofinance.com. You can also go to our website at credofinance.com. And there's several different ways you can get into a contact us kind of button, and just send us a note. We get them all, and we respond to them all. So if something I didn't cover, or if you have any questions, please let us know. But with that, I'm going to wrap up on Kentucky, and let's see, tomorrow we're just going to head straight south and talk about Tennessee, okay, the volunteer state. And so until tomorrow, I will wish you a good night, and I hope this video was helpful. Thank you.